At the age of 34, I became a widow, after only being married for 6 years. He was 33. January 2018, he had an operation to remove polyps from his bowels, and he was meant to be given antibiotics. He didn't get them, and from January to November, he was in and out of hospital 10 times, for different reasons. He had many operations, and in the March, I had to give up my full-time job to be his carer, as he couldn't look after himself. On the 8th of November, his body just gave up. I fought for answers, but no one wanted to own up to anything. His death led me to more depression and more debt, eventually making me nearly homeless. No one wants or thinks they're going to be a widow, not this young, but it happened to me. Why? Haven't I suffered enough? May 2019. I got a letter from my landlord giving me 1 month to find somewhere else to live. I'd got behind on my rent, more debt, more stress. But because I wasn't working and I had a dog, I really struggled to find somewhere. I ended up in a little dingy basement, a 1-bed flat with 2 tiny windows, and noisy neighbours above. My mental health got worse. I then decided to go back to work part-time in a toy shop, and it was the best job ever. I met someone new, but I lost friendships through it. And in February 2020, we got to a place together, but lockdown happened. This stopped him from moving in straight away. And it was £725 a month, so it was a struggle. But I was lucky enough to get a full pay being furloughed. I had no one, and it was a new area, so it was tough going until him and his little boy moved in with me in the November. In 2021, I finally applied for a debt relief order as I couldn't afford my debt anymore. I'd had it hanging over me since my mid-20s, so that was a big relief and a weight lifted. Unfortunately, my boyfriend started showing his true colours, and I couldn't stand his anger anymore. I ended this thing mid-2021 and moved from Leeds back up to Bishop Auckland, my home. I applied for a council house, and they wanted to know my connections to the area. They said it would take months to get a property. I didn't have the option to move in with family because I had my dog. I ended up looking at private rented again. As I was on my own and I had a dog, I struggled. I must have viewed 10 properties until I found a place, but I needed to have a guarantor. Fast forward 3 years, 3 relationships, 2 house moves later, and I'm finally settled in a lovely home with a brilliant landlord. Unfortunately, because of his past traumas, I suffer with my mental health, fibromyalgia, pain and finances. There just isn't enough help for people like me. There's been a few times I've thought about ending things, but I wouldn't want to put my family through the hurt and the grief I went through losing my hubby.